Hey everybody, okay, so this is not the view you are used to starting with, but it is Happenstance Journal Project, Phase 2 backgrounds, Day 10, and our last color, gray. And I was a little hard pressed for some inspiration on gray. I knew that the gray I have is pretty much all of Tim Holt's Lost Shadow, Payne's Gray, and then a couple of gray paint pens, and then a Dilutions, wherever it is, a Dilutions paint pen in gray. That's literally all the gray I have, except for the watercolor here that I used. But I'm trying not to use watercolor on these backgrounds because, of course, it stays reactive. So I was trying to think what's gray, and I came up with pebbles. So I thought I would show you because it's not very often that I test an idea before I do it, especially for something like this. But my first thought was, can I draw something that realistically looks like a pile of pebbles? And I think I can. I think that's pretty good. I also wanted to show you that since I am doing all this, hang on, let me put up our day 10. Since I'm doing all these mark making, I started a marks to make little mini journal. And all the marks that I am starting to make, I thought, well, let me just start sticking them in here. That one's obviously not done. But there's today's pebbles. So I tried it in my book. I kind of liked it. Then I moved it to my giant doodle page that I'm working on. And I really like it against the gray. So that is our inspiration for today. So let's see if we can take that and make a giant sheet of backgrounds without them being this tiny. So I'm going to I got to go up front. I'm going to find my gigantic black marker, because this is actually done in black Sharpie, but because it's on the gray background, it still looks gray. So I'm going to find my gigantic gray Sharpie, and we are going to try to make a gigantic sheet of gray pebbles for day 10. Be right back. I'm back. And when I went to get the black marker, I got to thinking that it's just so black. So I decided, let's try something different. That's what this is all supposed to be about, right? Trying something different. So I've got this liquid charcoal that I've hardly ever used. I think it stays reactive because normal charcoal does. So I've got my matte medium and I've got my favorite brush. And what I thought I would do is put it down with matte medium and see what happens. So now the only thing I have to decide is, do I put my circles down first and then cover it, or do I put my gray down first? And I'm thinking I'm going to put my gray down first. The reason is some of this stuff, this is like literally my thought process. I'm sitting here thinking about it. Some of my products are water reactive because they're distress. So when I put down my matte medium, some of them may move. So I think what I need to do is put down all of my grays, seal it with matte medium so that all it's going to move moves, let it dry, then come back and do my charcoal pebbles in charcoal and activate the charcoal with matte medium. All right, so I think that's going to be our plan. But let's do this just a little relaxy. So I can't play any music because y'all got my phone, obviously. But let me grab out what we're going to use. So let's definitely use some Distress paint. And let's use the Distress Oxide in the, I don't know if this is just the re-inker. I don't know. We're going to definitely use the Distress Oxide in the spray. Okay. Oh, we are so using the pads. So using those. And you know what? We've got two other ones We've got hickory smoke and pumice stone, so let's use those. We've got a re-inker, or a ink dropper, so let's use that. And because it is one of my favorite paint colors, we're going to throw in some Payne's Gray. I'll go in and grab out the Lost Shadow spray stain as well. So I think the only thing in my entire gray bucket that we're not using is my Dilutions paint, which all the others were dried out. Let's see if this one was. Oh, it's not. So maybe we'll use it. That's a beautiful color. It's not, is it? No, it's not. All my other Dilutions were completely dried out. But you know, this probably was a later color, and the others I bought when they came out. So let's put that down. All right, so we'll save out the paint pen in case we need to put some definition to our pebbles, in case the brush and this just isn't giving us the effect. So it looks like the only thing we're not using in our gray bucket is the just embossing powder. So yeah, because we don't have much in our gray bucket. Okay, so I am going to go quiet. I'll actually see if I can find some copyright-free music or something to put on this time, because this is going to be probably a fairly long process and an awful lot of quiet. So let's get to it. Oh, I almost forgot. I started to tell y'all that I wanted to make it kind of an experience. So I was going to light a candle for the smell. Okay, so we've got the House of Shadows smell, which that doesn't really tell you. It smells very perfumey, okay? Or we've got White Pumpkin Vanilla. Oh, it smells very comforting. So we're going with the White Pumpkin Vanilla. So, find a place where there's no paint yet. And let's light it. Alright, that gives us a little yummy smell. And of course, I always have my coffee. You'll know that. I've got all my acrylic paints down. I'm just going to be grabbing some water and smushing them around. I decided to swap to a bigger brush just so it goes a little faster. Okay, I'm loving the gray color I've got here just by mixing those 3 grays. So, if you're lost, it was Delusions, Slate Gray, Lost Shadows, Distress Paint, and from Ranger, and Golden's Payne's Gray. I think the next thing I want to swap to is going to be the ink pads, and I don't want to get acrylic on them, so I'm going to give this a quick draw. I've got Lost Shadow in the Distress, regular Distress, and the Distress Oxide. I've got Pumice Stone in the regular Distress, and Hickory Smoke in the regular Distress. And I'm just going to smush them around. All right, and now I'm going to go back to this one, and I'm just going to move those. And once again, I'm going to move to the bigger brush, just so it's faster. So I've decided to drop in to drop in my inks. So the Distress Oxide and the Re-Inker. And now then, I'm going to take that big brush again. We're not even going to play with the little one. And just do the exact same thing. We're just going to move it around. Maybe with a little bit of water. Right, and now I'm going to use the sprays. This is the regular spray stain and then the oxide spray. Okay, I'm going to dry it before we put down our later matte medium because I really like how it looks. And I'm hoping if I dry it first, there won't be as much movement. If y'all have learned nothing from watching me, it's that I change my mind constantly. Y'all, I love this. And I think that it kind of looks celestial. And one of our cards was space. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to tear it down, let it completely dry, like dry, so that I can tear it down. And then we'll do 1 pebbles. We're definitely going to leave 1 for space. I don't know about the other 2. But yeah, this looks very spacey to me. But do I want to go in and cover? Let me go in and cover it with matte medium and then we'll let it dry. Because I forgot that I haven't done that yet. I'm just thinking how much I love it. Some of these really thick spots are still wet, so they're going to move. But the shape of the dark I have got dried in, so I don't think I'll lose it entirely. So we're just going to go in and go. Because I got to tell y'all, I love this. And I have to admit, much like the purple, I wasn't looking forward to the gray because I was scared it would be kind of bland and boring. This is anything but bland and boring. Yeah. But then the reason was because I knew I only had Lost Shadow. And so I wrongly, as you can see, I assumed that they would all actually be the exact same, not just color, but the same shade of the color. They aren't. They're different shades of the colors. So, okay. Super light-handed. Oh no, look how much it's moving. It is moving so much. Alright. So since how light-handed isn't going to do us any good, let's scrub. Let's just do it like we have everything else so that we don't lose that movement. Because that's the movement that gave us these marks, so that's the movement that's going to keep us these marks. And I may do the sprays back into the wet matte medium and hope for the best. Alright, I kind of did the matte medium a little bit thick because I am going to spray these right back into it. And hopefully, because they are being sprayed into matte medium, it'll stay. I still love it, y'all. Okay, so we're definitely going to let this dry now because it's a little bit of a mess as far as how thick the wet is. Fingers crossed that the spray stays pretty much because of the matte medium, because if I do anything, you know what I can do when it's completely dry? I've got, oh, if I can find it in the art room redo, I have some fixative. So I may do that. I may spray fixative over it after it's completely dry, but it's going to be a little while before it's dry. Like a while. So, bye for now, but not for the whole day. And we're going to let this dry. Be back later. I decided y'all got to have some close-ups here. So this is the whole thing. And then we're going to just zoom in and go. Sorry for my shadow, y'all. Do you see why I have to keep some of this just like this? I mean, that is so pretty. And again, it's sheer luck and just letting the products do what they do. Y'all saw what I did. There is no artistic talent there. That's just the products being beautiful. All right, let it dry. So they're all dry. They're all cut down. Here is my little scraps. And they're going in my scrap bucket, box, bowl, whatever we're calling it. Here are the two larger pieces, and they're going to go over here in my to be used stack. Alright, so we have to decide which one of these we're going to start with for the pebbles, because we're going to do pebbles on at least one of them. And also, looking at my tester, I edited the first half while I was waiting on this to dry, and it really looks more like cobblestones, like a gray cobblestone street, which I kind of really like. But either way, pebbles, cobblestone, whatever we're going to call it, we have to decide which one we want to do it on. Okay, this one I definitely want to keep as is because I just think that looks like marble. It kind of looks like marble, and I want to keep that one as is. So we're going to set him aside. I think this one looks like space because of that. It's kind of like a constellation, you know? But being in the center, it's probably going to get covered up. So I have this one. That one looks like marble too. I just really love it. Okay, so he's going to get saved. So it's between these two. So this one's going to be pebbles or cobblestone or whatever we're going to call it. Okay, so I've got the two little tester strips there you just saw where I tried making the pebble pattern, and while I do really like it, I didn't like it more than I liked these backgrounds, so I decided not to put it on top of them. I'm just going to edge them out with my black ink, which you see me doing here, and use them. I will take the other half of this, which was making those demos and deciding what to do with them, and I will make a second video. I'm going to call it Pebble Pattern, and I guess where we go from here on the Happenstance. But I just really loved the marble look of these pages and decided that I'd rather leave them as they are, and if I want those pebble patterns I can always add it, but I really like them just on those two little tester pieces. So you will see the rest of this video. It'll come up under pebble, what did I just say? Y'all, pebble pattern. So if you want to see how I made those testers and what I decided to do with them, look for that second video. Bye, y'all.